This is part of the Great Western Colliery near Tonypandy in South Wales, the scene of the coal miners' strike of 1910. The strike was covered in a series of images taken by photographers of the Topical press agency. They were based in London, but they had photographers all around the country, taking pictures, sending the negs back to head office in Fleet Street, where they were developed and captioned and sold to the newspapers. What they recorded in Tonypandy was a town under siege. The strikers had raked out the boiler fires, they'd shut the machinery down. All except here at the Glamorgan Colliery, where over 100 policemen were defending the pump house. The bosses had brought in blackleg labour, workers from outside to keep the machinery going. Over the next 2 days, angry strikers charged the pump house building, throwing stones and ripping down fences. Eventually they were driven back to the high street, where windows were smashed and shops looted.
For a quarter of a mile, practically every shop had its front smashed in. The street was littered with goods of all descriptions: drapery, groceries, provisions. The rioters ran around unmolested with armfuls of loot.
Eventually, on the orders of Winston Churchill, they called in the army. The town became a virtual war zone. It's hardly a picture of the Edwardian Golden Age.
In 1907, across Britain, 2 million working days were lost through strike action. By 1912, that figure had risen to 40 million. In the hot summer of 1912, one major dispute followed another. The seamen, the dockers, the railwaymen, all caught on camera by photographers of the Topical press. What the establishment feared was that this wave of unrest had a political agenda, that British workers were questioning the right of a wealthy elite to own the means of production. Much was made of a pamphlet published by a group of miners in South Wales, entitled "The Miners' Next Step." It called for workers across the country to fight, to organise, to take control of every industry.
The working class, if it is to fight effectively, must not be a mob, but an army. We must be regimented and brigaded, all workers together in one national and international union to fight all the capitalist parties.
The truth was, most strikers weren't planning to overturn the social order. They just wanted their wages to keep step with rising prices. And they looked to the unions and to the newly created Labour Party to represent their interests. But the forces of tradition were stacked against them. The Labour Party was still a new force. It had just 29 seats in Parliament in 1906, and the two main parties, the Liberals and the Conservatives, defended the interests of the middle class and the rich.